This exercise is going to be a stretch with PAILs rails to improve your shoulder internal rotation. We're going to stretch the posterior shoulder muscles and kind of really target the deep shoulder capsule with this exercise. This is another variation of the sleeper stretch, but it's upright, which sometimes feels a little bit better for people who have shoulder issues, or it's just a little more accessible since you don't have to lay down. So ultimately, we're gonna look at stretching the right shoulder. You're gonna get your elbow propped up on something like a box. You're gonna take your other hand and we're just gonna pull down into shoulder internal rotation. Now the key here is a little bit of stability and awareness in your shoulder and shoulder blade. If you're a little bit more bendy, or if this is really stiff, your shoulder blade is going to pop up because it is more mobile than your actual shoulder, which is probably why we're stretching it. So what we want to think about is getting your under armpit stuff contracted to pull your shoulder down. So we want to keep it right here. As you are pulling that stretch, you're actively pulling your shoulder down to keep it where it is. We shouldn't be seeing this happen. You should just feel those muscles working. Now, this is going to be the depth that you need to push into this is going to depend on what you can tolerate, but you should be feeling a stretch through here. We should not be feeling any pinching in the top and front of the shoulder. That means that you've gone too far or that this is not an appropriate exercise for you. Now, as you're sitting here, you're just going to breathe deeply and slowly and try to relax into the stretch. We're going to hold the stretch from 30 to 60 seconds to start working up to that 2-minute goal mark over time. And then when you're finished with the stretch, we are going to do PAILs and rails contractions. PAILs is going to be pushing up into the hand, which is going to be contracting this stuff. So we're going to lightly kind of contract into the hand, and then we're going to turn the volume dial up on the intensity of that contraction up to the desired intensity over 10 to 15 seconds. Then we're going to hold at that intensity for about 10 to 15 seconds, and then we're going to ramp down and relax. Now that is going to be this motion. Now we're going to do rails contraction. So you're staying in that position. The rails contraction is going to be thinking about trying to turn your biceps down, like we're actively pulling ourselves into a deeper position. You should feel some of these muscles working. Again, no pinching or pain, but these muscles should be working. You might not have good contraction or control of those muscles here, which is fine. You should feel that as you practice this, you get better connection, and one day it'll really click with lots of patience and effort. You're gonna ramp up that intensity on that contraction to the desired intensity, hold over 10 to 15 seconds, then hold for that 10 to 15 seconds, and then ramp your contraction back down. And that would be one round of your PAILs and rails. If you can sink into a deeper position, you can do that, and you might be doing more PAILs rails after that, or that might be the end of your session for the day. Depends on your goal of your session or what your program says. But ultimately, as you're consistent with this, you should feel that you can get deeper into that movement. You should feel your rotation movement is a little bit better. You should feel like you have a more resilient and healthy and happy shoulder. And you should feel like your overall mobility is improving in all of your other exercises as well.